This is King Tynex here, back with another video. And as y'all can clearly see, you already see that this is Bill Cipher. I think you all know what if this is. What if Deku was Bill Cipher? Part 2. And last part was kind of interesting. Ankle's gone. Shigaraki got that buff. And Deku's just learning more abilities. Now, in the last part, people were wondering if I could just give him the full reality warping abilities. And for everybody that's asking about warping reality stuff, you know what? No, I'm not going to give him the full extent, at least just yet. Instead, what I'm going to do is maybe give him some minor reality warping stuff, like turning wood into gold. I saw somebody comment that last time. I was like, okay, maybe I may do that. So I was like, you know what? Let's do that instead. So y'all can go thank this guy. Anyways, back to the video at hand. How am I going to end up doing this whole UN entrance exam? Basically, what's going to happen is that Izuku actually signs up for UA. He managed to end up going to a regular public school. Let's just say he went to the same middle school as Bakugo. But this time around, things are radically different. Rather than Bakugo ever trying to pick on Izuku, he knows not to mess with Izuku. He knows just how powerful this kid is. So he is like, you know what? I am not going to mess with Izuku here. Izuku is actually respected and feared by all of his peers due to Izuku easily being able to take down Bakugo, and go even further beyond that, being able to take down the whole class actually. These kids trying to pick a fight with Izuku one time because they found him to be weird. Weirder than the norm. And let's face it, if you're weird, nobody really likes weird people. When I say weird, I mean not those funny type of weird, not the funny type of weird. Just weird, okay? Like the silent kid in the classroom, weird. But these kids trying to fight Izuku. Izuku just used a whole bunch of different abilities that they didn't even know he had at that time. Izuku was like, you know what? I am not going to keep a low profile anymore. I'm going to be in high school soon. So I may as well just set up the fact that they should know who was boss around here. That's how the kids ended up respecting Izuku. Out of fear, actually. Even when it came onto the entrance exam, Izuku was mumbling a bit about how he would actually crush the competition. Ida does the same thing in canon, but Izuku doesn't take well to what Ida said. Instead, Izuku calls him out, mentioning how he was being way louder than him, and even has blue flames in one hand, ready to brawl with Ida actually, but President Mike actually stops them from really doing anything. What time is it? Okay, I got some time. All right, so President Mike is able to stop them from doing anything that could tarnish their reputation, UA's reputation, and cause these kids to lose a chance of ever getting into UA because they were they were thinking of duking it out in the auditorium. Needless to say, these two they are not going to be friends in this what if. As a matter of fact, Ida already has a bit of a bone to pick with Izuku afterwards. He tries to talk to Izuku while Izuku is just stretching, but Izuku just shrugs him off and just walks away. This really ticks off Ida, to say the least. Now here comes the most interesting part, though. The oh my goodness, the physical exam. This is where things get interesting. Why do I say this? Because that's when Izuku really lets out some of his abilities. As soon as President Mike says go, Izuku just charges in. He flies using telekinesis. Next thing you know, he lifts up a whole bunch of the robots off the ground and just smashes them all together. Now, when the teachers saw one robot float up, they were thinking, oh, this could probably has some relatively strong telekinesis quirk. But when they saw him lift up like 10 of these robots at the same time, that's when some of them just spit out some of their coffee. They weren't expecting for the kid to have that strong of a telekinetic quirk. What made it even more amazing is when it seemed like he seemed to have some sort of second quirk, or at least like some sort of half and half quirk, where he literally just shot blue flames out of his hands, and he shot lasers out of his eyes too. The teachers were scratching their heads, wondering what was this kid's quirk. But But this kid was basically racking up multiple points. He was already in the triple digits by the time, in like 5 minutes that passed. These guys were losing their marbles seeing what Izuku was doing. He was displaying so many different abilities. And then it seemed like he just turned some of these robots into cubes for whatever reason. Izuku was just going pretty crazy here. He wasn't really he didn't really care at this moment. He was going to set things straight, show them that he is going to be someone that UA does not want to mess with. That's okay. Even when it came on to the 0.2, Azuku heard the girls crying, Uraraka's cry. At first, he was just going to shrug it off, let her suffer, actually. But here is what ended up stopping him, though. He realized that, you know what? No, I want to test out my abilities a little further. And this is where the teachers just. If, if all the teachers still had some marbles left, if some of these teachers were still hanging on to their sanity, just watching this kid, they would have lost it by now because Azuku literally just. I don't know how to describe it. I can't remember. I can't remember all of his abilities, but he literally sends The zero pointed to seemingly another dimension. He opens up this. He just seems to create this ball of energy that consumes the zero pointer and disappears. The the teachers at first think that, oh, this kid has an energy manipulation quirk, most likely, and he's just super strong. I wonder who his parents are. He must be related to some pro heroes that we might have never heard of. Either that or he's like some sort of transfer student or something who has like some really powerful hero parents. But no. What actually ended up happening is, well, the zero pointer was sent to a pocket dimension. And Izuku just erased that pocket dimension afterwards. And let's just say that's a sound pocket dimension made when it disappeared. If you could hear that thunder. Look, this is probably the worst one I've done yet. I don't care because look, Izuku just went crazy throughout the whole entrance exam. The teachers lost their marbles. That's pretty much how it went. When it goes on to the day of their first day at UA, because Izuku already knew that he got in. After everything that he displayed there, he knew that he had gone into UA. He he just knew it. But on his very first day at UA, all the kids are just looking at Izuku because of what he did back there at the entrance exam. There are rumors going around talking about how this one kid was able to just use all of these different abilities at the entrance exam. It was like he had multiple quirks, and this actually caught the attention of All Might as well when he was hearing how some kids seem to have multiple quirks. And he was getting into his suspicions about All for One. Was this All for One's doing? Did this kid have some connection to All for One? Even when it came on to Even when it came on to just the regular interactions, they were not the same at all. Ida didn't approach Izuku. He did not want to talk to the boy at all. When it came on to Uraraka, she said, "Oh, thank you for saving my life." Izuku was like, "Oh, don't mention it." He was just pretty nice to her in that sort of cheeky, Bill Cipher, nice kind of way. Okay. Um, shoot. When Aizawa walks into the classroom, he mentions the same thing as in canon, talking about how it took 8 seconds for all of them to quiet down. He mentioned how they need to do better next time around, and that all of them need to get into their their gym uniforms because they are going to be taking an apprehension exam. I think that was the name of it, but some of the kids grown, they still leave, even though some did mention how they were basically skipping orientation. Aizawa already covered that. Well, this is my class. At UA, us teachers have free reign over what we get to do in our classes. When it comes on to doing these exams, needless to say, Azugu does not do bad at all in these exams. As a matter of fact, he does the exact opposite. He is basically at the top of his game in every single part of these tests. And when it comes on to The 50-meter dash, boom, he just teleports 0.01 seconds. And when it comes on to the throwing test, infinity. When it comes on to the standing long jump, he passes that. He does well on that. I'm not quite sure how I can really say much about that. He just teleports, I guess. When it comes on to the grip strength, he just makes it melt, honestly. He makes the machine either melt or malfunction, whichever one you want to go with. Um, even when it comes on to like that long distance run thing, Izuku is able to just dominate. He just dominates every single one of their tests. Aizawa just looks on in amazement, wondering what quirk does this kid have. He even tried deactivating it at one point during that softball throw test, but it didn't seem to work. It was either that Izuku was just uber strong from the get-go, or there was something off about his quirk. As if it wasn't a quirk or something. But that's pretty much how I would like to end it off. I think that's pretty much how I'll just end it off, really. I know this is fairly short, I don't care. And this is, well, I suppose I can also get into, what do you call it? Into the battle trial. So, like, basically, after the day ends, Zuko and Uraraka just walk home together. Uraraka is just questioning Zuko on his quake, but he just avoids the whole topic. He asks her about her quake. She goes on to explain it. They just have a little bit of chit chat. When it comes on to the next day with All Might, because nobody cares about the rest of the day. All Might just looks at Izuku, just stares at Izuku for a second before going on explaining what they would be doing today, that they would do their battle trials. All the students are excited to hear this, but Izuku, he just relaxes in his seat, knowing that this is not going to be any sort of competition for him. This is how I will end this part for the what if. And I may start implementing light goals. Okay, after I reach 300, I shall be implementing light goals. Also, I may do another what if, I guess, for 300 subscribers. King Tynex out. Oh yeah, and let me know, like, what designs do you want for Izuku's costume here? I legit got nothing. King Tynex out. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Oh yeah, and comment. Be active. I'm out.